Parents' care and property. Abandoning senior citizens could now prove to be costly. In the dead of night, an elderly mother sits outside the door of her own house. The very home she built with her lifetime's earnings now has no room left for her. The son had once said, "Mother, transfer the property to my name, I will take care of you for the rest of your life." The mother trusted him, signed the papers, and transferred her only support to his name. But a few months later, that same son changed. The love in his voice turned into orders, care turned into taunts, and the mother began to be viewed as a burden in her own home. The fear begins right here. If senior citizens give away all their lifetime property to their children and later those same children leave them abandoned, who will be their support? And the curiosity is whether the law can help reclaim property from such children who took it as a gift from their parents but then turned their backs on taking care of them. In India, caring for parents is not just a matter of emotions. It is deeply connected to our social culture, moral duty, and in many situations, legal responsibility as well. Even so, many such cases come to light across the country where elderly parents feel neglected, insulted, or emotionally abandoned after transferring their property. The nuclear family culture has grown, city life has become fast-paced, and in many households the needs of the elderly have begun to be seen as an inconvenience. Sometimes they are confined to a single separate room, sometimes their medicines are ignored, and sometimes sending them to an old age home is looked at as an easy way out. But now, the law and the courts have sent a clear message that taking property by exploiting the helplessness of the elderly and then abandoning them is not acceptable. The very purpose of the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act, 2007, is to ensure that parents and senior citizens receive maintenance, care and dignity. Section 23 is highly important in this law. It establishes a direct connection between property transfer and the obligation of care. To understand it in simple language, if a senior citizen transfers their property to someone with the expectation or condition that they will be taken care of, then care becomes mandatory. If the person receiving the property later refuses to provide basic amenities and physical needs, then the path to having the transfer declared void can open up. This means a gift deed does not remain just a piece of paper written out of love. If there is a condition or expectation of care behind it, it brings responsibility along with it. The Supreme Court's Urmila Dixit case brought this very principle forward in a strong manner. This case was not just a battle of one family, it was connected to the anxiety of millions of senior citizens. Urmila Dixit had given property to her son, with the trust that her son would care for her and keep her secure in her old age. But when a situation of alleged neglect and ill treatment arose, she knocked on the doors of the maintenance tribunal and demanded the cancellation of the gift deed. The tribunal heard her plea and provided a way to cancel the property transfer. However, the matter moved further up to the court and a question of legal interpretation arose. A division bench of the High Court had overturned the tribunal's order. But the Supreme Court in 2025 gave a significant judgment in favor of senior citizen protection. The bench of Justice C.T. Ravikumar and Justice 𝐮𝐩𝐿 Karol stated that a law meant for the welfare of senior citizens cannot be read in a narrow manner. The court understood that if the elderly do not have the practical power to get their property back, the very purpose of the law would be weakened. If a person takes property and violates the condition of providing care, then the transfer can be considered void on grounds such as fraud, coercion, or undue influence. This does not mean that every gift deed will be automatically cancelled. In every case, the facts, conditions, conduct, and evidence will be examined. But the message is clear. Depriving parents of basic care after taking their property is no longer just a domestic dispute. It can become a matter with legal consequences. For senior citizens, this ruling is like a ray of hope, because many people transfer their property under emotional pressure and later feel helpless. Many parents think that since it is their own child, what is the need for a written condition? But in matters of property, relying solely on emotions can be risky. The biggest support in old age is not money, but security. If you transfer your security itself, then both your bargaining power and your independence can be weakened. Therefore, legal experts often advise that senior citizens should not transfer 100% of their property without careful thought and safeguards. Before transferring property, it is crucial to think about how medical expenses, living expenses, and emergency needs will be met in the future. Sometimes children are good, but their financial condition or family pressure changes later. Therefore, planning should be based on trust, but it must be backed by protection. A gift deed means transferring ownership without any payment. But in the case of immovable property, registration, stamp duty, and legal formalities may apply. Therefore, it is wrong to assume that just because a gift deed is easy, the risk will be easy too. Once ownership is transferred, the matter can become complicated. If clear conditions regarding care, residence rights, medical support, and maintenance are written into the gift deed, there is greater clarity in future disputes. If senior citizens wish, they can reserve a life interest, meaning they can secure their right to live in and use the property even after the transfer. Many people transfer their property to their children's names immediately, but keep no written protection for themselves. This can become the most dangerous mistake. Giving away property under emotional pressure and signing legal documents without reading them can cause severe damage to financial independence in old age. The story of 𝐮𝐩𝐽𝐻𝐵 𝐶𝐚𝐭𝐞𝐬 is often remembered as an example in this discussion, where a family dispute came into public attention after a wealth transfer. Such stories are not meant to scare us, but to make us cautious. Whether it is a big name or an ordinary family, a mistake in property planning can prove heavy. This ruling is a warning for children as well. Caring for parents is not just a path to securing an inheritance, it is a responsibility under both humanity and the law. In the very home where parents taught their children how to speak, walk, and live, insulting those parents is the saddest possible situation. If parents have given property, it is not just an asset transfer, it is a transfer of trust, and honoring it can become both a moral and legal duty. Caring for the elderly does not just mean giving money. It can also include food, medicine, a safe place to live, respect, and emotional support. Many senior citizens are hurt the most, not by a lack of money, but by the indifference of their own children. They do not go to court because they love fighting. They go to court because people stop listening to their voice at home. The maintenance tribunal provides a relatively accessible mechanism for senior citizens in such cases, so that they do not get completely trapped in long civil litigation. But before going to the tribunal, it can be important to keep documents, gift deeds, medical records, messages, witnesses, and facts related to neglect safely organized. Before taking any legal step, it is best to seek advice from a competent lawyer, because the rules of every state and the facts of every case can be different. The purpose of this script is not to give legal advice, but to create awareness. This is so that no senior citizen risks their lifetime's assets without understanding. Parents should also not transfer their property out of guilt. Helping children is a good thing, but making yourself insecure is not wise. If property must be given, write down conditions, retain your right to reside, and clear up the arrangements for medical and monthly expenses beforehand. Options like a will, gift deed, family settlement, and trust can be useful in different situations. The right choice depends on the family structure and legal advice. Many times a will is better, because ownership remains with the parents during their lifetime and the transfer happens later. A gift deed makes an immediate transfer, so greater caution is needed when executing it. Even signatures made out of love can become a dispute in the future. Children must also understand that the responsibility of care comes before receiving property. Inheritance is more a matter of trust than a matter of right. The day society understands that abandoning the elderly is not just a moral mistake, but also a legal risk, behavior in many homes may change. But the problem will not be completely wiped out by law alone. Family communication, financial planning, and respect toward the elderly are also essential. Parents should also speak out about their expectations clearly. What the children will do, how much support they will provide, and who will live with them are things that should be decided in time. Silence becomes the biggest conflict in many families. Parents think the children will understand, and children think the parents will manage. By the time the misunderstanding comes to light, documents have already been signed and bitterness has entered the relationships. Therefore, do not make property planning an emotional taboo. Look at it as a family safety discussion, just like we view health insurance or retirement planning. Senior citizens have the right to protect their dignity. Their home, their money, and their hard work are not just assets on paper, they are the support of their life. If a child takes property by promising care, they will have to fulfill that promise. Otherwise, the law can stand against them. The message from the Supreme Court is exactly this. Welfare laws must be implemented in a meaningful way for the protection of senior citizens. This gives strength to those parents who used to think that they had no options left after giving away their property. But the best solution is not reaching the court, it is showing wisdom before the court is needed. Before transferring property, read, understand, have conditions written down, and save a financial safety net for yourself. And the biggest lesson for children is that caring for parents is not a favor. It is the very debt that is repaid not with money but with behavior. A human being does not need luxury in old age. They need respect, medicine, security, companionship, and the reassurance that their own people will not consider them a burden. If parents have given you a home, it does not give you the right to turn them out of the house. The law is now saying that running away from responsibility after taking property will not be easy. This decision is connected not just to the property of senior citizens, but to the protection of their dignity. Because the true identity of any society is measured not by how far forward it pushes its youth, but by how much respect it gives to its elderly. In the end, remember, receiving property can be good fortune, but the blessing of parents is a wealth far greater than that. Children who forget their parents for the sake of property might become owners on paper, but they remain very poor in humanity. And parents who understand their legal and financial safety in time can live their old age not with fear, but with dignity.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible, but in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.